Good afternoon, everyone. Pledge of Allegiance, please, led by our controller.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Folks, you should have the minutes for the last meeting. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Anyone from the public have any agenda items to address? Seeing none, in regard to motions 26-3020, motion to approve all current payables for the Community Corrections Center and the prison.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Controllers Report 26-3018.
Yes, Judge, Controller's report of the prison inmate and canteen accounts. The Controller's report reviewed the prison inmate and canteen account reconciliations which were prepared by the Prison Business Office for the month of February 2026 and found no discrepancies between the reconciliations and the bank statement. As of March 2026, the balance in the inmate checking account was $465,823.16, and the balance in the canteen checking account was $486,641.15. In addition, as of March, the canteen account also holds a balance in two 6-month Pennsylvania local government investment trust investment accounts totaling $989,947.98. $876,754.40 of that is earning $2,629.54 per month at the rate of 3.69% annual return for a term of 180 days and will mature next July 10th, 2026. Also, $112,794.27 is invested at the rate of 3.71% annually for 180 days, earning $343.95 per month, and will next mature August 3rd, 2026. During the month of March 2026, a total of $83,556.81 was paid from the canteen account for the benefit, welfare, and education of Lackawanna County prison inmates. And an itemized list of these canteen account expenses are listed on page 3 of my controller's report. And that concludes my report.
A motion to accept the report? Second?
Second.
On the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Community Corrections Report?
Good afternoon, Your Honor, Commissioners, board members. Following is the Community Corrections Report for the month of March 2026. Program totals for adult house arrest were 74. For juvenile house arrest, we had 32. Program revenues for the adult side were $47,446. For the juvenile section, we had $5,990 for a total of $53,446. Program expenses for the month of March were $65,265.44. We had 29 program completions, 5 program violation and returns, and we have 1 outstanding program warrant. Budget report overall, our overtime is currently at 32% for the year. Expenses are at 22%, and our revenue is at 20%. And that concludes the Community Corrections Report.
A motion to accept?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
On the question? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Warden, 26-3019.
Good afternoon, Board. The average daily population for March was 616 inmates, 482 were county inmates. We averaged 543 adult males and 73 adult females. The average daily population of U.S. Marshal detainees was 134, and the average daily population of Susquehanna County detainees was 15. Our overtime and out-of-county boarding reports are attached. Currently, our correctional officer numbers break down to 172 full-time officers on shift, 5 out on workers' comp, 1 out on continuous FMLA, 83 with intermittent FMLA, 1 officer out on administrative leave, and 3 full-time vacancies for a total of 182 officers. Budget as of March 31st, revenue was at 29% and expenses were at 24%. Extraordinary occurrence reports, there were 6 in the month of March. On March 17th, an inmate got into a physical confrontation with an officer. The inmate was placed in the emergency restraint chair for the safety of all involved. On March 22nd, a male was committed who appeared to be under the influence of a substance. This individual didn't cooperate with the booking process, and the situation escalated into a physical confrontation. Staff placed him in the emergency restraint chair to ensure the safety of all involved. On March 24th, it was determined to move a male inmate out of his cell and into another due to the unsanitary nature of his cell. The inmate did not cooperate with staff's efforts, and he struck an officer and then struck a sergeant in the face. Staff then placed him in the emergency restraint chair for the safety of everyone involved. On March 26th, it was determined to move a male inmate out of his cell and into another cell due to the unsanitary nature of his cell. This inmate didn't cooperate with staff efforts. Staff then used the pepper ball launcher, and they were able to gain the inmate's compliance. On March 30th, a male inmate was being brought in by the sheriff's department and was observed to be acting in a loud and irate manner. He refused to follow instructions and informed staff that he had no issue with assaulting staff. For the safety of everyone involved, this inmate was placed in the emergency restraint chair. And finally, on March 31st, a male inmate was placed on a suicide precaution watch. While being transferred to a camera cell, he began to act out, and a decision was made to place him in the emergency restraint chair and safely transport him to his new cell. PREA, there was 1 PREA investigation completed in the month of March. It was an allegation of staff on inmate sexual misconduct, and it was deemed unfounded. The result of the investigation has been forwarded to the DA's office for review. And personnel matters, our new class of cadets are scheduled to graduate this Friday, the 17th. The class consists of 2 full-time officers and 3 part-time officers, and all will be assigned shifts upon graduation. And this concludes my report.
Motion to accept?
I have a quick question on that, if I could.
Motion to accept first?
Oh, yeah, sure, yeah,
Thank you.
So,
Second? On the question.
on the question, sorry. On the overtime report, Warden, can you just explain if there's anything behind, in 2026, you're at $478,000 in overtime. Last year, you were at $283,000 roughly. So it's up $200,000. Is it, what's causing that?
Predominantly, it's a combination. We have 5 individuals out on workers' comp and 3 vacancies, but there's always a lot of fluctuation that occurs when it comes to hospitalizations. I don't have it broken down with me right now, but I know with the Armor Health report that I also submitted, I know that in the month of March, there were 10 ER visits, 6 of them resulted in hospitalizations. So anytime that happens, that's overtime automatically. So you got the combination, workers' comp, 1 individual out on FMLA. We had 2 or 3 at one point out on continuous FMLA and hospitalizations. That kind of thing piles up.
Okay, thank you.
Going further on that point, on payroll number 3, which is February 10th of 2026, it goes from $47,000 the month before to $48,000 the month after, but that 1 month is $165,000.
Actually, that was 1 pay period, and there was probably multiple hospitalizations in that pay period. I don't have the direct answer. I can research it and
No,
find out why, but
it just stuck out when I was reviewing it.
it jumped off this chart for me, too. I was like, oh, boy. But it's back. It looks like it's back under control right now.
Okay. Mr. Welby, do you have something?
Yeah, one thing real quick. We received a, is this working?
Yeah.
We received a notification, and you responded to a resident that had some concerns that they expressed, and you responded to them. One of them was an expenditure of $4,762.38 for some dry erase boards and markers for the classrooms. You did respond that you all purchased 3 freestanding dry erase boards and a new TV. Could you send us the details for those purchases, please?
Oh, absolutely.
Please, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Warden, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's the opportunity for the public to address the board. Good afternoon.
Hi, Bev Barrasse, Scranton. Just want to report on how the voter registration is coming along. About halfway through with the registration. So far, I've submitted 22, and more to come there, more blocks that I didn't get to cover yet. And then we'll start the mail-in ballot, requests for that, applications for that. So I'm on track, but right now I don't have a partner to go with me. You met that Ryan who came, but he got another job. He's moving to Philadelphia. Yeah, Philly. So here I am. But before the November elections, I'm really going to be looking and asking for help to help register people. But we'll get through this primary. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Other members?
Hi, I'm Eileen Acapenti Dunmore. I'm just wondering the update on filling the medical positions, and if indeed some of the positions are being filled instead of by a physician, by a nurse practitioner or nurse or PA. Do you know if that's accurate or what's happening there?
So, the warden, if you could, I have the report, but if you could explain it.
There was a vacancy that occurred. The medical doctor for Armor Health left employment last month, just before our last meeting. They've advertised it, hoping to get someone local. Temporarily, right now, what they're doing is they have 2 nurse practitioners doing the best they can to fill that role. And when the need is there, they are telehealthing, if that's the right term, with the doctor out in Erie County, PA. Armor Health also has the contract out in Erie County. So when they need to get a doctor, an Armor Health doctor involved, they're doing telehealth with him. But other than that, for the time being, till they hire a physician for the prison itself, they're covering it the best they can with 2 nurse practitioners.
Warden, to follow up on that, we had conversations in the past with Armor. What is done in regard to, for example, I'm sure a doctor is not, a nurse practitioner is not compensated the same rate as a doctor. What happens in regard to our contract with them in that regard, especially when we have vacancies? Because what they argued last time was that many of these times they would have overtime to fill those spots. Well, obviously, overtime does not take care of the fact that you don't have a medical degree.
Correct. And what they do is, I mean, they're on a cost plus system. So anything that's costing them, they're essentially putting it in for a reimbursement. I don't know that the additional nurse practitioner is costing, I'm sure that person's not costing as much as a doctor. So right now, you don't have a doctor doing that work. You have a nurse practitioner who's making less money. So in a way, it's beneficial. Financially, it's beneficial. But, medical coverage-wise, you'd prefer to have a doctor doing the work.
Is that creating, following up, is that creating more hospital visits? And going back to what your other conversation in regards to the overtime, obviously, if your doctor's not there, are they now having more hospital visits, ER visits that are driving up our overtime?
Well, in the month of March, the vacancy occurred right around the middle of March. It's not enough time has passed to be able to even gauge that. I don't think so, because that 10 ER visits with 6 hospitalizations, I always look at that kind of equation as that's a good ratio. It means we're not unnecessarily sending people to the ER when 60% are being admitted. That's not a bad thing. Prior times, prior to Armor Health, there were times when that ratio was way off. We're sending 25 and only having 3 commitments. That tells you you're overusing the ER. So at this rate, it's looking okay to me, but I'm not a medical professional, so I really can't tell.
If we had enough staffing, we may have been able to prevent the hospitalization, which becomes more costly, obviously.
That one I can't answer, sorry.
I know, okay, thanks.
Thank you. Any other members of the audience? Any other members have anything else? Attorney Gallagher? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Hi, greeting. My name is Yasin Kucak. I am an imam and chaplain volunteer in Lackawanna County. I would like to introduce myself and follow up upcoming meetings. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Folks? He does that well, doesn't he? Yeah. Folks, thank you very much.